Here is another video that I've been wanting to make for quite some time, and it's going to have something to do with saving you lots of money. And I repeat, lots of money, sometimes thousands of dollars. And I've even seen projects where emergency repairs can be over $10,000 if you need to call them immediately and have them come out there in the middle of the night. And in this video, I will provide you with a couple of things that you can do to control your emergency plumbing situation, whether or not it's a water supply problem or a drainage problem most of the time. So let's go ahead and start with the drainage pipes. And this is usually going to have something to do with a clog somewhere in your plumbing that is creating your bathtub, toilet, or sink to overfill onto your floors and in some cases create an emergency situation. And I'm here to tell you that if you know where your drain pipe cleanouts are, or if in some cases you don't have them, but you get them installed so that you don't end up dealing with an emergency situation, then it could end up saving you a few dollars. So let's go ahead and pretend like the water is filled up in the drainage pipes and has somehow gotten into the bathtub, but not overflowing out of the toilet or out of the sinks. To provide you with an example of how the plumbing pipes could fill up all the way across the line here. So this line right here represents the top of the water level in the pipes. And this is the reason why you don't have water coming out of the bathtub or the sinks. It's going to be coming out of the lowest spot possible. And that's usually going to be your bathtub, your shower, or bottom of the toilet if the seal isn't working properly. And this is actually something that happened to me about 5 or 6 years ago. And I did not have any cleanouts to open. However, this isn't always going to be a problem. You've got to continue to put water into the drain pipes in order for it to continue flowing out or leaking from another low spot. So pay attention here. In order to prevent you from calling an emergency plumber, simply quit using your toilets, sinks, and bathtubs. Otherwise, water is going to continue to flow out of these areas unless the plumbing pipes are only partially clogged somewhere. So a drainage pipe problem usually isn't going to require emergency plumbing services. However, a water supply problem might. And we'll talk about that in a second. Let's go ahead and remove some of this stuff here so that we can take a look at the plumbing. And I can provide you with a little more information about what's happening underneath your floor and in the walls. And that's usually going to look like this. Let's just say that I have a clog here, and it's not allowing any water or debris to go out of the pipe. Then it's only a matter of time before the plumbing pipes over here fill up with water and will leak out of the lowest spot, which in this situation here is going to be the wash machine drain line. So if I have a clog here and I use the kitchen sink above, then there's a good chance the water from this pipe will just simply fill up these pipes and gravity will do its job and allow the water from here to come out of here. However, if we do not have something located here and this is the lowest spot, the bathtub, then every time I use either one of the sinks or the toilet, I'm going to allow for water to go into this pipe. And since it's not going to be draining out, it's actually going to fill up the rest of the pipes and allow it to go into the lowest spot possible. And hopefully by now you're starting to wrap your mind around what I'm talking about. And it really is going to depend on where the plumbing pipe is clogged up as to whether or not you're going to be able to just simply open up one of the cleanouts. And even though your city or your county might not appreciate this, it might prevent you again from calling an emergency plumber or ruining your home. So if you know where your cleanouts are located and you have a problem where water is backing up in a bathtub, simply go down and open up one of the cleanouts. And if all of the water drains out of that cleanout, then that will give you a pretty good idea that this section of the pipe is not plugged. And the same would hold true if I went down and I opened up this clean out here. If I open it up and all the water from here drains out into my front yard, then I'm going to have a pretty good idea that none of this here is plugged and that the problem is going to be located in front of the clean out or in between this section of the plumbing and where it hooks up to a septic tank or the sewer pipe. So again, if you have cleanouts and they're located outside of the home and they aren't going to create a problem, simply open them up. And if it's in the middle of the night or 9 o'clock on a Sunday, and you understand what I'm talking about in this video, then you will not require emergency plumbing services. And instead, we'll be able to contact a plumber the next day during normal working hours. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the water supply. This is going to be easier as long as you know where the shutoff valve is to your home. And this is usually going to be a valve that if it is working properly, you're just simply going to be able to turn it in one direction or rotate it in a certain direction to stop the water to the entire house. So this is very important. However, it's got to be working properly. And in some cases, it wouldn't be a bad idea to make sure that it is. Shut it off and then go into your house and make sure that water isn't leaking out of one of the faucets that you have open. Obviously, it's not going to work if the faucet is shut. However, this won't be the end all here. If that isn't working, you can usually go to the water meter where the water company will have a shut-off valve located on either one side or both sides of the water meter. And even this can be difficult if you haven't done it before. Do the homework. Make sure that you know where the water shutoff valves are and that they are working. And the same will hold true for your cleanouts. Make sure that you know where the lowest point of the plumbing drain pipe is going to be, the cleanouts that might be necessary to open if you're having a problem with a drain pipe clog. Also, make sure that you can open them and that you have the correct tools to open them and you know where those tools are located so you won't have to look for them during an emergency. And I can't stress this enough, emergency plumbing services can usually be eliminated by simply knowing where to shut off the water. Because if there isn't any more water going into the house, then you're not going to have any more water entering into the drains either.